Wrestling is really, unlike amateur wrestling, we don't have weight classes. It's heavyweight. We wrestle the biggest men possible, and it's really pretty hard to get into professional wrestling. I heard what David said. Swimming's great. In fact, that's what I do, but I'm a big guy. When I started out, football was where I aimed. I dedicated my life to football. I loved it. I ate, drank, and slept football. It's, dedication is the name of the game. Well, I was a fullback. I went to the top, but...
Did you ever think about becoming pro?
Sure I did, but, I had some knee trouble. Mm-hmm. And football is so knee-oriented, blocks, tackles, everything's shot at your knees. But in wrestling, you can direct the attack, to head on. I can protect my knees that way. I saw more longevity in wrestling also, not to mention more money. Football is great, but it's pretty short-lived.
All right. Thanks for calling. I got a question for you, Kevin. A few weeks ago, I was at the Sportatorium, and you were in there with, what's his name, Khan. And towards the end of the match, one Michael Hayes came in and threw you off of Khan, or Khan off of you, one or the other, and he started in on Khan himself. And then you went back in, and you remember that night?
He's a nut, man. Yeah, I know it.
Which one?
Both of them. Both. Killer Khan is really kind of, oh shoot, he set me on fire. Everybody knows it. When I'm in the ring with him, man, I just can't seem to hold myself back. The guy doesn't feel pain, and I just want to give him all I got, Mm-hmm. And I do. And he's wailing across the ropes. I've got him going because I know how to do it, But Michael Hayes is just, he's so impetuous. If he feels fury in him, he lets it go, even though he doesn't know how to direct an attack.
Yeah.
And so he attacks a guy like Killer Khan, and he gets his bell rung first thing right off the bat, and then he's just lunch for him, Killer Khan's an animal. He doesn't feel pain. He's kind of like Missing Link. Let me tell you, people say, hey, Kev, is Missing Link, is he really that great a wrestler? No, he's not. He is a terrible wrestler. The deal about the guy is his body is like a lunatic would be. He's just always so tense and tight and just
like this.
He's insane. The guy, hey, if they don't go into a mental institution, they come here at the same time. I don't know where Akbar does it.
Where does he find these guys? Well, he didn't find Khan, but like Missing Link.
Well, he paid Khan, and the Freebirds never. I don't know what's the deal with that, but Missing Link, I don't know. I'll tell you this: a lot of people don't know that Missing Link used to be in the military, and he was a.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was.
Was he on our side?
Yeah. In fact, he was a really sharp guy. They say, I don't know. I don't see how it could be possible.
Used him for a tank.
Really?
A battering ram.
It was some kind of big deal.
All right, let's take some more calls. 787-1000 is the number. You're on the Eagle.
Yes. David?
Yes.
Would you tell Mike Reed something for me?
If possible.
Yes. Could you tell him thank you for coming out to Wagon Wheel Play Day?
Yes, I will.
Cedar Hill, Texas.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike Reed's a great guy. He really is.
First class.
First rate.
Eagle 97.
Yes, David. Kevin, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much wrestling is fake and how much it is real.
Yeah, I thought you'd never ask. Let me say this. My dad's done one thing all his life, and that's his best. My dad was a football player. He all conference. He threw the discus, #1 Olympic hopeful. Got married. No one supported him. He didn't go to Finland. The guy second place to him got the gold medal. My dad, everything he does is the best. All he's got. That's the way I do it. Just the way my dad would have me do it. Anytime I step in the ring, it's man against man. May the best man win. That's why stipulation in every Von Erich match is the winner will get 80% of the gate, loser 20%. And if he has a manager, he still has to cut that 20% with his manager. That's an incentive to win, and that's the only way to compete.
All right, thanks for calling. Eagle 97.
Yes, I'd like to ask David Von Erich. I'm sorry,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
How?
Dave can't hear you. Hey, listen, don't be hung up about that. Okay?
What's your question?
How does Mike Von Erich feel about, he is so much like David and everything. Does he get upset when people tell him that, or is he proud of it? Or?
No, he doesn't. we're a real tight family. Dave is not dead. Dave's just gone through the other side. He's waiting for us. I mean, you can call it a crutch to lean on. It's not. It's firm belief that I know exists. Mike is not really even that much like Dave, if you ask me. Mike's kind of he's symmetric in the body. He stretches good. He has that fire Dave has, but he has that nimbleness that comes like a cat. It's hard to say who he's most like. But Mike's his own man. I do see a lot of Dave in him, and a lot of people do. But Mike is he's his own Von Erich.
And I'd also ask, what started the feud between Terry Gordy and Killer Khan? I mean, I didn't know which one I wanted to win because I don't like them both. But
yeah, same here. You know, every time those two guys get in the ring, it seems like they just want to tear each other's head off. It seems like when they kill each other. And you know, that's when I really love wrestling. You know, I just like to sit back and just watch them go at it.
I think to answer your question, what started was I think there was some under the table dealings by Akbar, and there was no warning or anything. The Freebirds was just like everyone else, myself and Kevin. They're watching TV, and there's their man Killer Khan out there wrestling for someone else under a new manager.
Now, Mike is the new, American champion, right?
Right.
Mike Von Erich is.
Yeah. Weren't you supposed to be in
Youngest
that
one ever.
match, and Mike stepped in for you?
Yeah, I was stuck in Phoenix, and, you know, I almost missed my match. I've been looking so much forward to Gino Hernandez coming back in town because I used to kick his tail all over Texas. And, man, finally here he is back, and I get a title shot. You know, mind you, he didn't mean to have it that way. His contract demanded a title shot, and I was next in line, and I got it. Lo and behold, I get stuck in Phoenix. And so I called him. I said, Mike, this is your chance, buddy. See, I've got faith in Mike. I know he's a tiger, and he's ready to go. Well, Mike stepped in, answered the call. Now everybody says Gino's jumping at shadows. He's afraid of Stella May, which is true. I mean, she's made his life a real hell. But that's not Mike's fault. In fact, all the Von Erichs feel the same way. We don't want any outside interference, be it Stella May. I don't care who it is. I mean, that goes against everything it takes to be a Von Erich and have gratification and a win. And so that's why. So
you're just as happy to have it in the family now, the title itself.
Well, the title, you know, I guess I kind of jumped over that question. I wanted to. I would look so much forward to Gino Hernandez coming back. Mike got the shot, you know. Still, I had a chance with Gino the other night. I got laid over in L.A. for 6 hours, just barely made it in to make the flight.
You need to just stay in town for a while.
Well, I had to do it. I had to take off.
All right. Eagle 97.
Hello, I got a question for Kevin.
Yeah?
Kevin, what happened to Bruiser Brody?
Well, it seems to me Kamala kicked his tail pretty good, and he took off, and then somebody kicked Kamala's tail. It's kind of like the ocean, you know? There's somebody always around to eat you, it seems like. Anyway, that's what happened to Brody.
Any other question?
Yeah, I got one more. I read in this magazine, had a little biography about David, and they said Hart brought in Brody. Is that true?
Hey, those magazines, man.
Is
you
that
might.
Esquire or Wrestling Magazine?
Yeah, really. Hey, those magazines, you know, they make those things up. I really don't know. I don't know how they sell those darn things. They've always got pictures of the Von Erichs in there, even though we've told them to leave us out because they've got these ads with make women do your every command and all that kind of stuff. It's disgusting. We don't want to be associated with it, but they still put us in there, so be it.
Eagle 97.
Yeah, can I talk to Kevin?
You're talking to him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell him that he was the best working Von Erich in wrestling there was.
Well, I'll say this. I think I'm the hardest working in the last few days anyway. But I appreciate that. I really do. Thanks.
One out of three, that's a compliment.
All right. Eagle 97.
Yeah, I've got a question for Kevin.
Yeah.
A number of years ago when your father was still wrestling,
Yeah.
he sometimes wrestled with a man named Waldo.
Yeah, right.
Whatever happened to Waldo Von Erich?
You know, this is going to sound crazy, but Waldo Von Erich moved out to Florida. He was never real wise with his money, and he bought 8 oil wells from someone. And now, this is going to sound crazy, but, you know, this is a dream come true. The guy ripped him off. The oil wells were dry. Something happened. There was the ground moved. They shifted. All the oil wells came in. The guy was making $8,000 a day in Florida.
Oh.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Eagle 97.
Hello. I'd like to ask David or Kevin, there's been rumors going around that Kerry is the world champion again. I just want to know if it was true.
He's always world champion as far as I'm concerned.
But he's not.
Legitimately, Ric Flair is still the NWA World Champion, but there's a lot of controversy there. It's funny. I know Kev's going to agree. There was a lot of funny things went on in the way Ric Flair won the belt back and the stipulations that were there. And all of a sudden, now that Ric's got it back, it's kind of like a conspiracy. All of a sudden, they've dropped the rule which demanded the champion to give a new champion a return match, and all of a sudden that rule was dropped, and we're having trouble getting a rematch with not only with Kerry, with any of the Von Erichs. It's hard. Flair's dodging, and the NWA's kind of backing him up.
So there's nothing with Flair coming back into town anytime soon, or
Flair won't even wrestle Mike.
Not signed against a Von Erich. There's not.
Why don't you try and get him in the ring, Dave?
I just won my 1,000. You're trying to get me to give it away.
Any other questions?
I have a question for Kevin. Kevin, how did you feel about Mike taking your American title shot and then winning it from Gino Hernandez?
Man, I felt as proud as I could be. I'm the big brother, and Mike is, you know how it. Have you got any brothers yourself, man?
No, I'm
Well,
only child.
You'd have to have brothers to understand the great feeling when you see one of your little brothers succeed, and me having a hand in it just made me feel great. That's how I felt and feel.
Also, I'd like to congratulate David Manning on whipping Buddy Roberts.
Well, I would say well.
Eagle 97.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
This is Twyla, and I have a question for you.
All right.
When when you get your fan mail,
Yeah.
well, do you answer back, or?
Charlotte, it's so hard. I read all I can, but man, I'm just always traveling. I'm always on the road. But when I get letters, we go through it, and some letters just really, some people's heart just really talks to their pen. I'm talking about abused children, people that I feel like I can help. Man, I do all I can, and I'm not just patting myself on the back, but, just, Kevin, I love you. I bet I'm not your typical fan, but I really love you, and, hey, I understand, and I love them back, but, I can't answer that kind of mail because I'm just too busy working. A working man.
Any other questions?
Oh, yes. My name's Twyla.
Twyla.
It's a little unusual, but,
Well, that's a pretty name, Twyla.
Oh, thank you. Do you have any nickname that nobody knows about?
Yeah, Kev.
Kev? Okay, well, my best friend Lindy has a question for you, too.
All right.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Randy.
You have a little girl, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Okay, if you have any more children and you have a little boy, do you want them to be wrestlers?
Well, it's a pretty tough sport, you gotta... The way I feel, did you say your name is Randy or Brandy?
No, Melindy.
Melindy.
Melindy, huh?
It's different, too.
I'd hate to have to spell that one, but it's a pretty name, too. It's a brutal sport, and like anything else, you've got to commit early. You've got to decide, what you want to do when you're around 11 or 12 years old, and then start working towards that goal. So whatever you wanted to do, I'd say, put all of yourself into it and go for it.
Okay.
Thanks for calling. Kevin, what do you want to be doing in 20 years?
Well, I'd kind of like to be riding my helicopter over my wildlife preserve, or maybe, I don't know.
I know this man you can go on forever doing what you're doing if you wanted to, right?
I hope not.
Well, I mean,
the last week doesn't look too.
there can only be
prosperous
so
for me.
many Buddy Roberts
I've
out
got
there.
lumps and cuts on my head and everything else. I'm not going to make a career. Someday I'd like to be a promoter, and that's what my goal is. In professional wrestling, I'm working towards being a promoter.
Okay.
Being serious about that, I kind of like that question. It intrigues me. I majored in biology, and I never graduated from school, but I wanted to go on to San Diego State and continue, and kind of work towards marine biology because I've really been, krill and plankton are such a real commodity now that it's so high in protein. I'm sure there's a future in that, but and it'd be interesting work too.
Mm-hmm. Did you live in San Diego for a while, or?
Well, I lived in Oceanside, California.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No, I lived in San Diego for a while. What trade
I love
stories about San Diego?
Yeah, Black's Beach.
Mm-hmm. Eagle, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got two questions. One, I was wondering if David or Kevin could tell me what Johnny Mantel is doing now. I haven't seen him in a few weeks. And two, what would be Kevin's most memorable match of his career?
Johnny just got back from Japan about a week ago. Had a very successful tour and probably be back on the TV within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, and what would be Kevin's most memorable match?
You know, I've got a pretty short memory, but I've had some matches that it'd be hard to pick just one out. I remember winning the American title from Bundy that my dad had wanted for so long, that my dad had and retired with. And then I remember a match with where I had a hair match against Gino Hernandez, and that was a really good night for me. I can remember quite a few really rewarding
I'd say
nights.
one of your best I enjoyed. Matter of fact, I refereed was in State Fair Coliseum. Kev pinned Ric Flair, but
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately there were some things that happened earlier. But
That was
you
the
know,
most.
comes right down to it. He pinned him 1, 2, 3, and I know it was exciting for me because I thought I had refereed the world title change.
Yeah, it was the first time ever. Way to go, Self.
Any other questions?
That's it. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks. Eagle 97.
Hi, Kevin.
Yeah.
I read in the paper the other day that you not only are married, but you also have one on the way. Congratulations.
Well, I don't know who writes all this stuff. You know, they must have found out before I did.
I wrote that.
Okay, anyway. Your brother. Does it look like he will be in wrestling?
Does it look like who will be in wrestling?
Your younger brother, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, well, Chris is kind of a little rock and roller right now, but it's kind of hard to say where his interest is.
Heck of an artist.
He's a good artist, but he's a great athlete too. So we'll have to see what he goes for.
Thank you.
How old is he, Kevin?
He's 15,
15.
Super artist. He's also a fantastic musician.
real creative guy.
He's got
really
about
is.
3 directions he can go.
Your dad looked in real good shape against the Freebirds on a couple of occasions.
Hey, my dad's bad to the bone. Let me tell you. I don't care how old he is. He's my dad. My dad. I'll tell you. One time we were lifting weights when we were young kids, and Kerry was doing squats. You know, squats where he put, I think he had around 400 pounds on his back, and he was just going to go down about halfway and come back up. And so I think it was around 300 pounds. We were pretty young, you know, 13 or so, 14. And the weight started to come off Kerry's back, and my dad caught that weight and curled it and put it back up on the standard. 300 pound, the guy never touches weights.
Boy.
So, you know, it's just an unharnessed strength that he's always had.
You remember a wrestler, this guy I'm sure wrestled your dad at one time or another. His name was Bull Curry.
Wild Bull.
Wild Bull Curry.
Eyebrows.
Yeah. Looked a lot like the missing link, except he had a real kinky hair.
Yeah, he was something else.
Whatever became of that guy?
You know, I really don't know. That was pretty long. I was pretty young then.
Well, yeah, me too. I was. My dad was manager of a station in Houston at the time, and he used to have the wrestling show on
I remember
Saturday
he was
morning.
scary. I think I had bad dreams about him.
He came up there to do the show on Saturday morning. My dad took me up there, and he chased me around the radio station because he knew that I was deathly afraid of him. And
You'd have to be when you see him.
Well, those eyebrows, right?
oh, he's the scariest looking man I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he makes Missing Link look not adorable, but better.
Like James Bond.
Yeah. Eagle 97.
Hey, Erich, how's it going?
All right.
I don't mind talking to the pre-adolescent crowd tonight.
That's fine.
I got a couple
Hey,
questions
come on.
for the guys. I was wondering, first, did y'all watch the Olympics?
Yes.
And y'all got caught the wrestling, I'm sure. How about those Americans, huh?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right.
I was wondering, that's amateur wrestling, that deal right there with the circles and the floors and all that, but how does that sort of amateur wrestling mutate into what is known as professional wrestling?
It's a totally different sport. I wrestled amateur from my 7 years old till I was 21 years old. It's totally different. There's some moves and stuff. Amateur wrestling helps you as far as agility, but once you get into professional wrestling, in amateur wrestling, there's no such thing as a submission hold. There's some holds you cannot use. For instance, a chicken wing, you can't go to the point of you may have saw the disqualification in the Olympics.
No slams.
But, you can't slam. The Olympics were great. The wrestling team was fantastic. I had to eat my own words. Matter of fact, with Kev's dad, I talked for 2 months about a friend of mine. His name's Andre Metzger, who is just a fantastic freestyle wrestler. And I talked for 2 months how he was going to win the gold medal. And I said, this guy's a cinch. It's too bad the Russians aren't coming because he's going to win the gold medal. And one of the Schultz brothers beat him off the team, and they won the gold.
Hey, amateur wrestling's great, but there really is no comparison. It's there is comparison, but it's quite a contrast.
For anybody that saw the match with me and Buddy, the first match, that's how I beat him was with an amateur move. But as far as
Was that when you left the ring?
right after that, I left the ring.
Well, I inferred this. I'm not sure. Am I to understand that there is a professional wrestling association that fights the same as the amateur does, like an international circle? I heard them talk about it on the Olympics, talking about such and such beats this other person in an international competition a few years back, and the year they named was not an Olympic year, and I was just wondering about that.
There's an international. Every year there's international wrestling, and just like this year, several of those guys are on the Olympic team, and some others will beat those guys out, and they will travel all over the world in international competition, but it's strictly like it was on the Olympics. Now, there are some good wrestlers that have come into professional wrestling that were NCAA champions, and a lot of those guys are super guys.
Another question. I heard you talking about Jimmy Garvin's left. I've been there. Great primordial swamps, Louisiana, for a month or so. What happened to Jimmy Garvin? What's the story on that?
Chris Adams defeated him in a loser leaves town, and someone asked me earlier, would he be coming back or would anybody win a contract? There's no one here to defend Jimmy Garvin. Now he's gone, and I don't expect Jimmy Garvin back, and I give him credit. Garvin's a very good wrestler, but I don't expect him back in the next couple of years.
He took Precious with him.
Wasn't he having some trouble with the Freebirds there right before he left, and with the Stella May deal and all that?
I think the Freebirds got a little frustrated with Stella May and Sunshine interfering in some of their matches, but it's hard to say. Jimmy Garvin ran around with the Freebirds, and
wasn't for that he'd been pretty popular around here, I think.
Do what?
I said if it wasn't for that, he'd have been pretty popular around here.
If it wasn't for his running around with the Freebirds?
Yeah.
It's possible.
I have a feeling the Freebirds plane has landed now, so we'll be hearing
by the
from
by,
him.
Rich, is Perk White going to be in with Michael Hayes like he said he was going to be?
Is he going to do what?
Perk White says he's going to show the Hayes tonight. And,
I don't know.
Hope not, right?
Uh-huh. It could always be dangerous. Anytime Paraquat and Michael get together, it's dangerous.
Paraquat.
All right? Thanks for calling. Eagle 97.
Yeah, I got a question for David.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, David?
Yes.
Who's going to win that match on Labor Day?
Which one are you talking about? We got about 8.
Against Freebirds.
I tell you what, ask me that question when I find out what all the stipulations are. Every day they're adding stipulations to that match to try and get a winner. On a friend-to-friend basis, naturally I hope the Von Erichs win. If I'm refereeing or whatever, it's just going to be the best team's going to walk out of there. And this time they're taking suggestions from myself, from other NWA officials, and from a lot of people that are involved in professional wrestling. And we're coming up with the best stipulations we think that will guarantee it'll be 3-on-3, and there will be no doubt when the match is over which team has won.
So the Von Erichs will go for any stipulations. We've made that clear.
All right. One more call, and we got to take a quick break. Eagle 97, go ahead. Hello. Talk to me. Oh, well. Okay, we'll take the break now, even quicker than we had anticipated. Number is 787-1000. My guests are Kevin Von Erich and David Manning. We'll be back with a talk show after this.
Tarrant County Junior College, what's in it for me?
Graphic arts.
Electromechanical technology.
Drama.
Auto body repair.
Biology.
Earth. Commercial transportation. Interpreting for the deaf.
Dental hygiene.
Architectural technology.
All this and much more waiting for you at TCJC. Registration starts August 28th.
Wanna look great, face to face.
You've got a date, skin's looking great, cause Clearasil's ace.
Face to face.
See you at 8, skin's looking great, Clearasil's ace.
Face to face.
Clearasil makes your skin look great, even close up, because nothing fights pimples and oily skin better than Clearasil's super strength formula.
You've got a date, skin's looking great.
For great looking skin, even close up.
Clearasil's ace, Clearasil's ace, Clearasil's ace. Face to face to face.
Through the end of July, this has been the hottest summer we've had since the record breaker of 1980. Your air conditioner's been working overtime, and it may make your electric bill higher than you expect. But at DP&L, we have a variety of ways to help. Ask about our average payment plan and our free computer energy audit. Use energy-efficient equipment and set your thermostat at 78 degrees or higher.